right, so top of the morning to you. What is growing on? I am back here at a project we just finished up in Northeast Lake, and as you can tell by the houses around me, this is definitely like a regular neighborhood. This is my third attempt to actually get here to make a video. The first time I had to go back home, plug the camera in, do all kinds of crazy reboot and updating. Second time, I forgot my SD card. Now I'm back for the third. So we finished this job about a week and a half ago. I tried to get the drone up at least 5-6 times, get you guys a little bit of that in-between action, what it looked like when we first got here with grass. So we did put a little bit of a buffer in on the right side of the house over here. And they've had a little bit of a deer issue. And that, when I say a buffer, that's a buffer of a non-native, actually I don't know, fishtail palm's native, I'm not even positive, but non-edible buffer going down the side. We originally were going to do bamboo there. They were worried it was going to be a little bit too aggressive here in the neighborhood. So we went with some fishtail palms. But one of the reasons I'm actually here so early today, almost every morning when we showed up, there's like 5 to 7 deer out back. So, you know, even though we are in this residential, you know, kind of more of a cookie cutter like neighborhood, there's a preserve behind here. There's a big lake behind here. South side of the lake too, I'll point out. So there's a lot of microclimate here. There's a lot of, you know, probably you shouldn't be able to grow in this area because we're to the east side of 19, not exactly right on the coast. But you'll see there's already some fruit trees in the backyard, and I can't quite call this one like the permaculture mullet. It's not really an all-out food forest in the backyard. This is more of an ecological landscape. All right, so this was a grass hole when we started. There's a few fruit trees here on the left side of the yard. As you can see, as we're stepping in, we've got a lot of that Sherlock edging, granite paths, and we used a lot of weed mat, heavy-duty weed mat underneath that. And first thing I'm going to tell you guys is this is probably the best edging and path job I think we've turned out yet. And I say that because you always get better at what you do, but this one, it really just turned out like to the T perfect. So shout out to the team. You guys crushed it. Really impressed with how well this turned out. This did have just that standard overhead irrigation, which would be in rotor heads, pop-up spray heads, which is what's pretty typical in your standard landscape down here in Florida. We ended up doing a retrofit on this system. We converted this all over to a micro irrigation on poly. So we have MaxiJet spray heads going to the individual plants. And you can see we used a lot of natives here. Got a lot of the Dune sunflower on this project. Oh, cranberry hibiscus hiding over there. We used a lot of course, our perennial peanut sunshine mimosa around the fruit trees. This was an existing citrus tree. And nice, really, you know, flowing paths kind of walking into the backyard with the seating area back here, and hoping we see some deer here in a second. Let's hold tight. So I believe we installed the mulberry, lots of salvias. There's even some roselle here. That might be a little sapodilla, pigeon pea, more salvias, roselle. What do we got here? What do we got here? A pear. I believe there's already another pear down on that end. Lychee with fruit on it. So this was obviously here when we got here. Probably been in the yard for a few years yet. And we had an ant issue here. Definitely put, I think, 8 ant stations in around the property. This is a Scarlet Beauty plum. Sweet almond doing its thing. We used a dwarf variety. I really like how the dwarf variety has shorter, tighter, fatter flowers. So on the standard sweet almond, the flowers get to be about that long. With the dwarf, they seem to stay a little bit shorter and get a little bit wider. Another existing citrus tree. Once again, peanut, mimosa around the fruit trees, sweet almond. We've got a peach here. What do we got? What do we got? Looks like potentially another peach or a plum, a citrus, some more cranberry hibiscus, some vetiver grass. We actually installed a couple of these foxtail palm trees, but what's really cool that we installed, because those aren't edible, is the coconut tree. So client really wanted to have a coconut. Definitely know it is risking and pushing it here in this area. Even though we're really close to Tarpon Springs, really close to the coast. We're not right on the coast. So last couple of years, that's done fine here. If we have a couple of mild years, they're probably gonna get fruit. Fingers crossed. Like I said, south side of the lake, that microclimate is key. These were not here when we wrapped up. Client said they had some old countertop that they broke up and just kind of used as a path to kind of head out into the back here. That gate enters into the preserve. Same thing with this gate over here. And you could see they used those same broken up countertop to kind of come into the seating area. Turned out really awesome. So super impressed. Definitely a little bit less grass, a little bit less of a grass hole. You can see on this one too, this was a little bit interesting. We even put that Sherlock edging all the way along the fence line, going out into the front yard, trying to stop any type of rabbits or anything from coming in, all the way along the back fence. So a little bit of a critter barrier, we'll call it. Over here in the back bed, I believe that was an avocado the homeowner had in a pot on the front porch that we came out and planted. Cranberry hibiscus, peach, vitex, kinoff. I believe there's some bee balm in here. It looks like in the back we've got a big edible leaf hibiscus, vitex. There's like a ornamental plant that was inside of the pot here. This was another avocado that was on the front porch Heather had been maintaining for a long time. A couple of Mexican sunflower, but not a ton of chop and drop. And I can actually hear some footsteps, which tells me the deer are back in there. Another big existing tree I forgot to mention was this large Barbados cherry in the corner, and these are definitely, quite tropical. This has been here a few years, so another sign that this is a fairly well protected area. Could probably grow some things that are not supposed to be growing here. Definitely use the zoom lens for this Nat Geo stuff, but as you can see, little deer action back here. All right, so how cool is that? A little bit of deer action. Try to get closer, let them come in a little bit. She said there's like 7 to 9 that show up here in the morning, so really cool. We'll get back over there in a second. Over here in this bed on the east side, so everybody always asks me for orientation, just so y'all know, that is due north, so that big lake, we're being on the south side of it like I had mentioned. But going to this bed right here on the north end of the property, this has Suriname cherries going in it through the back with Turk's cap hibiscus in the center. Upgrowing on the fence, we've got that blue butterfly pea that makes an unbelievable blue tea. And then along the front, we've got the African potato mint. Looks like a strawberry tree with a broken limb. Hopefully that wasn't from the deer coming in the yard. So beautiful pomegranate, mealy grass, perennial peanut, sunshine mimosa, and then grumichama down here at the end. She's starting to put on some new growth. There's that Suriname cherry, pink Turk's cap hibiscus, and then the blue butterfly pea, which, unbelievable. I should almost make a video just making a tea with that. Let me know if that's something you guys want to do, because Miss Amanda that works for me would probably be into making a video with that one. I think it'd be kind of a cool one. Literally makes like nature's Kool-Aid, so let me know if you want that in the comments down below. So going over to the center island, got a couple of our favorite John Starnes roses, a dwarf vitex. Here again, we have that granite they used to go into that center area, some mealy grass and vetiver kind of surrounding the seating area, and you can see fire pit already getting ready for action. So really exciting. Ooh, I see 2 deer over there now. See if I can sneak up from the other side. Little dwarf firebush. Gardenia, I believe the client already had that in a pot. I think we planted that. Maybe we worked around it. A couple of the tea plants. So this is the tea camellia, Rose of Sharon, big ice cream bean tree. And this is supposed to be like a flower bed, so we amended this area with good compost under here. This can be used for growing annual vegetable, or once season gets here, which would be for us, starts in about September. And you can grow here through the winter time. So I think that was kind of the idea here, even though I know they're doing some annual production in the backyard. So But we did look at these paths. So last bed up against the house is a spiral ginger over there, edible flowers, all different varieties of turmeric, some pineapples that the homeowner already had in pots that we had split up and planted into the bed. This flowering mango with little mango developments on it was already here. Philodendron was here. We added, different varieties of salvia, togan spinach, edible leaf hibiscus, whatever you want to call it. But there's green turmeric here, blue turmeric here, black turmeric, white turmeric, all different varieties, some katuk, because this is kind of a dappled light area. So another large leaf edible hibiscus. So like I said, behind me is north. That is the east, so we're getting a little bit of shade up against the east side of the house. In the summer, this probably gets a little bit of sun, but as the winter comes, this is going to be very shady. Existing banana, we added some compost to. Existing native elderberry, flowers on it, berries on it. Pretty awesome one. So a couple of shampoo ginger, and then we ended up changing the path. This wasn't in the original design. Shout out to Amanda. She was the one that did the design on this project, but we ended up tying that in to go over there. So pretty epic project. Behind me here is a really rare imported variety of pokeweed. Just kidding. This is a weed that's actually being maintained like an ornamental, though. It was pretty cool. When I first saw it, I'm like, what is that? As I got closer, I'm like, is that poke? No, they're not leaving poke in their yard. It actually has pretty cool looking flowers on it. The homeowner knows it's a weed, and it is kind of stuck here. Right on the other side of it, though, is a large tamarind tree kind of going along the back. They've got some more citrus. There's a Subtropical, macadamia nut, and that big tall thing is actually a moringa. You can see, I think there's only 2 deer over there right now. Did I mention I love the granite? So color scheme wise, matching wise, difference in when you look at the color of the mulch to when looking at the path, it's definitely a lot more neutral, a little easier on the eyes. The shell is kind of bright. When you're out here in full sun, the shell can almost be kind of blinding. The biggest concern Heather had here with the shell was it being sharp on her feet, coming out, wanting to walk around here barefoot. They wanted something that was a little bit easier on the feet, so that was kind of the main reason we had gone with the granite. But super impressed. The guys did a killer job. I'll say that again. I have an amazing team. It's okay. It's okay. All right. I do not want to spook the deer anymore, but that was pretty cool. A little bit of animal activity in the urban jungle. So hope you guys enjoyed this ecological landscape transformation. If you did, be sure to pound that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, maybe consider doing so. Most importantly, I need you all to get out there and pound some dirt.